Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years.
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday said he will raise a temporary tariff from 10% to 15% on U.S. imports from all countries, the maximum level allowed under the law. The move is in response to the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to invalidate his previous tariff program that it said exceeded his authority as president.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing.
The new levies are grounded in a separate law known as Section 122 that allows tariffs up to 15%, but requires congressional approval to extend them after 150 days. Trump, in a social media post, said he would use that period to work on issuing other legally permissible tariffs. French President Emmanuel Macron on Saturday weighed in on the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling.
First, I think this invites everyone to reflect. It doesn't seem bad to have Supreme Courts and therefore a rule of law. For those who think Supreme Courts create problems in political life, a Supreme Court looked at the Constitution and said, this is not in line with the Constitution. Now everyone says this is great. There you go. It's good to have checks and balances in democracies.
Trump has shown little sign of backing off his global trade war. In the hours since the court's 6-3 decision, he has attacked individual justices in personal terms and insisted he retain the power to impose tariffs as he sees fit.
US President Donald Trump says he'll release UFO records. On Thursday, Trump said he would direct federal agencies to begin releasing government files related to aliens and unidentified flying objects. He's pointed to what he described as a strong public interest in the issue and called the matter extremely interesting and important. Earlier in the day, Trump, without providing evidence, accused former President Barack Obama of improperly disclosing classified information when discussing aliens publicly.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
The real...
During a recent interview with podcast host Brian Tyler Cohen, Obama said he thought aliens were real. He added that while he hadn't seen them, they were not being kept in Area 51. Area 51 is a classified Air Force facility in Nevada that fringe theorists have speculated holds alien bodies and a crashed spaceship. Obama later clarified his comments, saying he thinks that statistically life exists beyond Earth due to the size of the universe. There's no indication in Obama's remarks that the former president released classified information. Obama's office did not respond to a request for comment. In recent years, the Pentagon has investigated reports of UFOs. Senior military leaders said in 2022 they found no evidence to suggest that aliens had visited Earth or crash-landed here. While a 2024 report said that most sightings were misidentified ordinary objects and phenomena.
First, I think this invites everyone to reflect. It doesn't seem bad to have Supreme Courts and therefore a rule of law. For those who think Supreme Courts create problems in political life, a Supreme Court looked at the Constitution and said, this is not in line with the Constitution. Now everyone says this is great. There you go. It's good to have checks and balances in democracies. We shouldn't go too fast either, because I note that President Trump, after a few hours, said he had revised the measures to introduce new tariffs, but this time more limited and for everyone. So we will see. We will look exactly at the consequences, what can be done, and we will adapt. At least 10 people were killed and 50 wounded in Israeli strikes in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. That's according to 2 security sources and comes after the Israeli military said it had targeted Hezbollah sites in the Baalbek area. Hezbollah said on Saturday that 8 of its fighters, including a commander, were killed. Israel's military said it had eliminated several terrorists of Hezbollah's missile array. They had, it said, been working to accelerate the organization's readiness while planning fire attacks towards Israel. Friday strikes are among the deadliest reported in eastern Lebanon in recent weeks and risk testing a fragile US-brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. The 2024 deal has been strained by recurring accusations of violations. US and Israeli officials have pressed Lebanese authorities to curb Hezbollah's arsenal. Lebanese leaders have warned that broader Israeli strikes could further destabilize the country, already battered by political and economic crises.
I'm Phil Noble, senior photographer at Reuters, and here's how I took that photo that went viral. This was probably the 4th or 5th police station that Reuters had visited that night. When I arrived, it didn't look anything out of the ordinary. There was no cars, there was no increased activity. And to be honest, just before he arrived, I'd left and go back to the hotel. The hotel's an hour away from the police station we were at. And my colleague Marissa messaged me and said, look, 2 cars have just arrived. I think you should come back. Spun the car around, got back, and within a minute of arriving back, the shutters on the garage at the police station came up and 2 cars left. One of them he was in. For every car shot that you do, the hit rate's really, really low. I mean, there's so many variables. If I've shot 100 of these and got 10, I'd be amazed. So last night was one of those kind of pinch me moments where you look at the back of the camera, you're tired, it's been a long day, you know you've got him, and then I said to my colleague, can you just double check, is this him? Because you want to make sure you can't believe that you've got him as well as I did. Is it the best photo I've ever taken? No. Is it up there with one of the most important?
To be able to come here, feed people, especially if anyone is homeless, they can come here and get a free meal. You don't have to be Muslim to eat. We break bread, we share bread, and we share good vibes, and that's what's so beautiful about this event. So if you don't know what Islam is, we're here to, try to lead by a good example and spread the message of the Quran in the best way possible.
Baby Japanese macaques immediately cling to their mother's body after birth to build muscle strength. They also get a sense of security through holding on to something. However, because he had been abandoned, Punch had nothing to grip onto. We tried several options to give him something to hold. We rolled towels into various thicknesses to find something easy to grasp, and let him try holding different stuffed toys.